Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from alexmerced.com. I want to talk about quality of life issues. One of the things that, if you're a libertarian and you talk to people about law enforcement and the proper role of law enforcement as sort of to defend people's rights to their body, life, and property, people get a pushback and they bring up quality of life issues. Kind of like, well, if all cops can do is basically prevent theft, murder, rape, then who's gonna make sure that people aren't blasting their music too loud outside, or other quality of life issues? Basically, they get scared because people do care about their quality of life. At the end of the day, who doesn't? I mean, people don't want to be, they're great that, we'll make sure that no one steals their house or trespasses on their house, but they are concerned if their neighbor blasts their music a little too loud. Now, there's all sorts of different ways to deal with quality of life issues, many of which are already in place and can be put in place in more places that don't require having to use force through law enforcement and creating laws to punish people with. Okay, so when it comes to quality of life issues, again, think sound ordinances, stuff like that. Instead of having like a sound ordinance where people can literally get tickets, and if they don't pay that ticket, end up getting jail time and really have their lives ruined, all because of maybe, just accidentally being inconsiderate. You can have things like what some communities do is they'll set up the community as an HOA, a homeowners association, meaning the decisions regarding the neighborhood are done by the HOA, and everyone who bought properties in this neighborhood kind of agreed to this. It was part of the deal. So it's not like you were forced into it. You said you wanted to buy into these properties, and you said you were okay with being part of the HOA, the homeowners association. And the HOA can set rules regarding how people's use of their property and whatnot, because they've agreed to it. They've voluntarily agreed to following those rules and the appropriate punishments outlined in the agreement. So this creates a way to help monitor being good and neighborly. Now, of course, this can also be abused and be used to exclude people from certain neighborhoods and stuff like that. But again, there's nothing involuntary. There's no one being forced. Okay. So basically, long as a community, the people who agree to this arrangement are happy with the results, that's their prerogative. Okay. And again, if other neighborhoods, competition can drive out sort of the bad practices as anything else. HOAs that make better decisions will end up being more successful and have higher property values than HOAs that make bad decisions as far as maintaining quality of life and creating an awesome environment in that neighborhood. Okay, what can happen is that if an HOA were to be overly exclusionary on who permits and what it allows people to do, people will be like, I don't want to buy property there. So while it may be safe and there's very little noise, you can't do anything with your property there. I can't build a pool. I can't do this. Or, everyone in that neighborhood is a jerk because they exclude these people. And property values may go down because of a bad reputation of that neighborhood or too much controls on that neighborhood. So there's a feedback mechanism that can help rein in bad practices. While if you put in like a local town ordinance for sound or for any of these things, it's much harder to move because you have to go through elections to get your people on the city council, and then you have to convince the other city council members once you have your people on there, because you still need to get more votes. It takes time, and that can take years because elections aren't like every month or every year. Oftentimes they're several years spread out. So to build the city council you'll need to make the changes can take years. So a change happens, and then you think it turns out to be a bad change. It'll take another several years before that change gets removed, and you're now living with the consequences of that bad choice. Well, with something like an HOA, it can be a little bit quicker to respond. Well, they can still make the same mistakes, but on a much smaller scale and deal with them quicker. That's a great thing about voluntary arrangements. It's not that they don't make mistakes. They make mistakes all the time. They make the same mistakes that governments make. The difference is when government makes mistakes, they impose them on more people, and it's much harder to undo them. So people are forced to live with them, and what happens is that after they have to live with them so long, it becomes part of the fabric of how they live that it never gets changed back. So there are ways to deal with it. You can have neighborhood watches, neighborhood organizations, community organizations. The community can organize it any way it wants to deal with these issues, such as sound and other issues regarding quality of life. There's no reason why we need to be tying up police resources. So it's not that those issues don't matter, is that their solutions lie elsewhere. And if there is a role for politicians, it's just to help people point them in that direction. So my name is Alex Merced from alexmerced.com. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. Have a great day and enjoy.